You are a dream weaver, an architect of the mind, navigating the intricate landscapes of human consciousness in a world where sleep is no longer a sanctuary but a battlefield. Your work begins long before dawn, long before the city truly awakens. Today is no different. You stir in the cool embrace of your apartment, the soft hum of the city a distant lullaby. The sleek, transparent interface hovering beside your bed flickers to life, its glow casting a sterile blue sheen across the room. It displays your first client of the day, a man named Elias Thorne. His profile is stark, his history a familiar echo of countless others who seek your services. Recurring nightmares, a relentless cycle of terror rooted in profound loss. A deep, unyielding grief that has fractured his sleep for months, threatening to unravel his waking life. You scan the preliminary diagnostics, the neural patterns indicating severe dream fragmentation and persistent anxiety. The details paint a grim picture, a trauma linked to an accident, a sudden devastating void left in its wake. This isn't just about bad dreams. It's about a mind trapped in a loop of its own making, a prisoner of its past. You take a slow, steady breath, the familiar ritual of preparation beginning. Your specialized suit, a second skin of interwoven neurofibers, awaits. You slide into it, feeling the subtle embrace as it calibrates to your unique biorhythms. The air in the apartment shifts, cooling slightly, the silence deepening as you ready yourself for the journey ahead. You connect the neural interface to your temporal lobe, the subtle prick, a barely registered sensation. The world outside begins to fade, replaced by a singular focus, a singular purpose. You are ready to dive into the abyss, to confront the shadows, to mend a fractured soul. The transition is always jarring, a sudden lurch from waking reality into the fluid, chaotic realm of the subconscious. One moment you are in your pristine apartment, the next you are adrift in a swirling vortex of distorted perceptions. You are immersed in Elias Thorne's mind, and it is a landscape of sorrow and fragmentation. The air here is heavy, thick with unspoken grief, almost tangible. Around you, the dreamscape unfolds, a grotesque parody of reality. Buildings lean at impossible angles, their facades crumbling, revealing skeletal frameworks beneath. Trees are gnarled, leafless, their branches clawing at a sky the color of bruised twilight. It is a world perpetually on the verge of collapse, mirroring the internal state of its creator. Fragments of memories drift past like ghostly debris, half-formed faces, snippets of laughter, the echo of a forgotten melody. They are beautiful, haunting specters, yet they are all broken, each piece sharp-edged and incomplete. You reach out, trying to grasp one, but it dissolves like smoke, leaving only a chill in its wake. This is not a place of peace. This is a monument to despair, built from the remnants of what once was. Dark, shifting shadows writhe at the periphery of your vision, coalescing and dissipating with an unnerving rhythm. They are not merely shadows, they are the physical manifestations of fear, regret, and the deep, persistent ache of loss that plagues Elias. You can feel their cold tendrils reaching, testing the boundaries of your presence, trying to draw you into the pervasive gloom. The ground beneath your feet is uneven, shifting, composed of what feels like shattered glass and broken promises. Every step is a deliberate act, a conscious effort to maintain your footing in this treacherous terrain. The very atmosphere hums with a low, mournful resonance, a constant reminder of the pain that permeates this inner world. You are a trespasser here, an intruder in a deeply personal realm of suffering, yet you are also the only hope for its redemption. You push forward, your internal compass, a subtle neural overlay, guiding you towards the epicenter of the client's trauma. The air grows colder, the shadows denser, and the weight of Elias's sorrow presses down on you, a palpable force. Your first objective is clear. Find a point of light, a memory untainted by the current despair, and use it as an anchor. You sense a faint warmth emanating from a crumbling structure in the distance, a relic from a happier time. You move towards it, navigating the treacherous terrain of Elias's subconscious. Your senses heightened, constantly aware of the encroaching darkness. As you approach, the structure solidifies slightly, revealing what looks like a child's bedroom, bathed in a soft, nostalgic glow. A flicker of hope ignites within you. This must be it, a happy memory. You reach out, intending to stabilize the scene, to bring clarity to the fading warmth. But as your energy touches the fragile construct, it shatters. The soft glow implodes, dissolving into a shower of glittering dust that quickly fades to nothing. The walls of the bedroom buckle, then collapse inward as if struck by an invisible force. The warmth vanishes, replaced by an intense, piercing cold. From the newly formed ruins, from the very heart of the shattered memory, something emerges. It is not a shadow this time, but a distinct, towering figure coalescing from the surrounding gloom. It is a formless entity, yet undeniably aggressive, radiating an aura of profound anguish and raw, untamed fury. Its presence alone is suffocating, a crushing weight of sorrow and resentment. This is the embodiment of Elias's grief, his guilt, his deepest, most destructive fears made manifest. It lunges, a silent scream of despair, its tendrils of darkness reaching for you. You instinctively recoil, a jolt of pure adrenaline coursing through your system. This is more than a nightmare, it is a sentient prison guard determined to keep Elias trapped in his suffering. The entity is fast, surprisingly agile, considering its ethereal nature. It moves with a predatory grace, its form shifting, twisting, never quite solidifying, making it impossible to predict its next move. Its attacks are not physical blows, but psychic assaults, waves of overwhelming despair and self-reproach that threaten to drown you in Elias's own pain. You feel the sharp sting of his regret, the burning shame of his perceived failures. You are not just fighting a manifestation, you are fighting the very core of his trauma. You evade its sweeping attacks, sidestepping torrents of dark energy, your own mental defenses stretched to their limit. This isn't a simple dream manipulation. This is a confrontation, a battle for the very soul of your client. The air crackles with malevolent energy, and the dreamscape around you responds, the crumbling buildings vibrating, the ground trembling. The entity lets out a silent, guttural roar that reverberates through your very being, a sound of pure, unadulterated agony. It is relentless, driven by the unresolved anguish of its creator, and it will not yield easily. The entity's attacks grow more frequent, more desperate, a desperate attempt to drive you out, to protect the client's suffering. You are constantly moving, dodging, weaving through the desolate landscape, the oppressive weight of its presence a constant threat. Your energy reserves are being taxed, but you cannot falter. This is a critical juncture. You need a new approach, a different path. As you narrowly avoid a surge of dark energy that would have engulfed you, something catches your eye. A flicker of light, a momentary glint amidst the pervasive gloom. It's small, almost insignificant, but it stands out against the monochrome despair. You notice it again, a repetitive pattern in the chaos, a symbol. It appears on the cracked pavement, then etched into the side of a collapsing wall, then momentarily reflected in a shard of glass. It's an old compass, its needle perpetually pointing in a singular, unyielding direction. A strange, anachronistic detail in this futuristic nightmare. Why a compass, and why here? The entity, momentarily distracted by your evasive maneuvers, pauses its assault, its form rippling like disturbed water. This gives you a precious window. You decide to follow the compass, to trust this unexpected clue. It feels like a whisper of hope in a world consumed by sorrow. The compass appears again, further ahead, a subtle beacon in the encroaching shadows. You push past the lingering tendrils of the entity's attacks, moving with renewed purpose. The entity seems to sense your shift in focus, its silent roar intensifying, but you ignore it, your gaze fixed on the recurring symbol. The compass leads you away from the direct confrontation, deeper into the less explored regions of Elias's subconscious. The landscape here is even more desolate, more forgotten, as if this part of his mind has been deliberately sealed off, left to decay. The shadows are thicker, the silence more profound, broken only by the distant echoing cries of the grief entity. The compass appears less frequently now, almost as if it's testing your resolve, but its direction remains constant. You follow its invisible thread, your intuition screaming that this is the key. The air grows heavy with a different kind of energy here, not the raw anguish of the entity, but a deep, suppressed sadness, a quiet longing. Finally, after what feels like an eternity of navigating the labyrinthine corridors of Elias's forgotten memories, the compass points directly to a section of a crumbling wall. It looks no different from any other part of the decaying structure, yet the compass symbol pulses faintly on its surface. You reach out, your energy flowing into the wall, probing for an opening. There is resistance, a psychic barrier designed to keep something hidden, something deeply buried. But the compass, now glowing with a soft, persistent light, empowers your touch. The wall shimmers, then dissolves, revealing not another room but a hidden doorway. It is ancient, made of dark, weathered wood, incongruous with the futuristic setting of the apartment, yet perfectly at home in the timeless realm of the subconscious. The door beckons, an invitation to confront the truth. This is where the real trauma lies, locked away, festering beneath layers of denial and pain. You push it open, the creak of its hinges echoing through the desolate sense. Behind the hidden door, the atmosphere shifts dramatically. The air is still heavy with sorrow, but it is a sharp, specific pain, not the diffuse anguish of the outer dreamscape. You are no longer in a generalized landscape of grief. You are in a specific frozen moment in time. The scene unfolds before you, stark and raw, a memory preserved in amber. It is the core trauma, the wound that refuses to heal. You see a road, slick with rain, the dim glow of streetlights struggling against the encroaching night. Two figures are visible, Elias, younger, more vibrant, and beside him a woman, her face filled with warmth and laughter. They are in a car, their expressions animated, a moment of shared joy. Then in an instant, everything changes. A flash of blinding light, the screech of tires, the sickening crunch of metal. The scene dissolves into chaos, fragmented images of shattered glass, twisted metal, and the horrifying silence that follows the cacophony. Elias is there, his dream projection, kneeling on the wet pavement, his face contorted in a silent scream. He is cradling the woman, her eyes closed, a faint ethereal glow surrounding her. His hands are shaking, his body racked with a helplessness that is almost unbearable to witness. He tries to speak, his lips moving, but no sound emerges. He is begging, pleading, but the words are trapped, suffocated by the shock and the overwhelming grief. The compass which led you here now rests on the ground beside the dream projection of Elias. Its needle points directly at his mouth, at his throat, at the very place where the unspoken words are lodged. This is the truth. This is the source of the recurring nightmares, not just the loss itself, but the crushing burden of what he couldn't say, what he couldn't do. The feeling of utter powerlessness in that moment, the inability to express his love, his fear, his desperation, has festered into guilt, poisoning his sleep. You observe the scene, a silent witness to the raw agony, the moment of impact, the irreversible turning point. The dream projection of Elias is trapped in an eternal loop, reliving the moment, always trying, always failing to articulate the words that could have perhaps changed everything, or at least offered some form of closure. His eyes are wide with unshed tears, his face a mask of profound regret. The woman's form, though ethereal, radiates a gentle warmth, a memory of love that still persists even in this desolate scene. But the lack of resolution, the words left unsaid, has become a gaping wound, allowing the grief entity to take root and flourish in the outer layers of his subconscious. The compass continues to glow, a silent testament to the simple yet profound truth it represents. The power of expression, the necessity of utterance, even in the face of the inevitable. You know what needs to be done. This is not about changing the past, but about changing Elias's relationship with it. You approach the dream projection of Elias, your presence a gentle ripple in the frozen memory. He doesn't acknowledge you directly, still lost in his loop of silent despair. But you can feel his awareness of your presence, a subtle shift in the dream's energy. You place your hand on his shoulder, a symbolic gesture of support and empathy. The compass beside him pulses brighter, its light guiding your focus to his mouth, to the words that have been held captive for so long. You project your intention, a silent suggestion, a gentle nudge towards release. Speak, you urge, your thought resonating directly within his dream self. Say what you needed to say goodbye, say you loved her, say you're sorry. Say you forgive yourself. At first there is resistance, a deep-seated fear of breaking the loop, of facing the full weight of those words. But your presence is persistent, unwavering. You channel a surge of calming energy, a wave of acceptance, allowing him to feel safe enough to finally let go. Slowly, hesitantly, the dream projection of Elias begins to move. His lips tremble, then part. A faint whisper escapes, barely audible in the rain-soaked silence of the memory. I love you. The words are raw, broken, filled with years of unexpressed pain, but they are spoken. As the first words are uttered, a tremor runs through the entire dreamscape. The grief entity which had been lurking in the periphery, its silent roars, now distant echoes, begins to writhe. Its form, previously aggressive and menacing, starts to flicker, to lose its dark density. Elias continues, his voice gaining strength with each syllable, each confession. I'm so sorry. I couldn't save you. I should have. He chokes on a sob, but then under your gentle influence, he manages to push through the guilt. But it wasn't my fault. I did everything I could. I forgive myself. As he speaks these words, a brilliant, warm light begins to emanate from the woman's ethereal form. It washes over Elias, enveloping him in a comforting glow. The heavy rain in the dream memory slows, then stops. The twisted metal of the car softens, its edges blurring. The grief entity, no longer able to sustain its destructive form in the face of this profound release, begins to dissolve. Its dark tendrils retract, its menacing shape losing definition. It doesn't vanish entirely, but undergoes a miraculous transformation. The dark, aggressive entity softens, its form becoming less defined, more luminous. It condenses into a gentle, shimmering figure, a benevolent presence radiating peace and acceptance. It is no longer a manifestation of raw grief, but a comforting guardian, a symbol of healing and remembrance. It reaches out, its ethereal hand gently touching Elias's cheek, a gesture of profound forgiveness and understanding. Elias looks up, his eyes no longer filled with despair, but with a quiet, profound relief. He finally meets the gaze of the transformed entity, and a single tear, no longer of sorrow but of catharsis, rolls down his cheek. The unspoken words have been spoken. The burden has been lifted. The conflict is resolved. The dreamscape, once a chaotic maelstrom of despair, begins to stabilize with remarkable speed. The rain-soaked road, the twisted metal, the crumbling buildings, all the harsh edges of Elias's trauma soften, blurring into a more peaceful, serene landscape. The heavy, oppressive atmosphere lifts, replaced by a sense of calm, almost a gentle warmth. The sky above, previously a bruised twilight, slowly shifts, hues of soft rose and lavender bleeding into a tranquil dawn. The gnarled trees, once skeletal and menacing, sprout tender green leaves, swaying gently in a soft, imaginary breeze. The fragments of memories that had been drifting like debris now coalesce into whole, vibrant images. No longer sharp-edged and broken, but smooth and comforting. You see snippets of Elias and the woman laughing, holding hands, living, truly living. Their joy no longer overshadowed by the accident, but simply existing as cherished moments. The transformed entity, now a radiant, comforting presence, stands beside Elias, its light a steady beacon of peace. Elias himself, his dream projection, appears at ease, his face serene, a faint smile playing on his lips. The weight of years of guilt and sorrow has visibly lifted from his ethereal shoulders. The recurring nightmares, the relentless loops of pain are broken. The healing has begun. You feel the subtle pull of the neural network signaling that your work here is done. The dream is no longer a prison but a sanctuary, a place where Elias can finally process his loss without being overwhelmed by it. The sense of relief that washes over you is profound, a deep satisfaction that comes with truly mending a broken mind. But beneath the relief, there is also a profound exhaustion. Navigating the depths of another person's trauma, confronting their deepest fears and guiding them towards resolution, takes a toll. It is a mental and emotional marathon, leaving you drained yet fulfilled. You take one last look at the peaceful scene, at Elias finally at rest within his own mind. The compass, which had been so central to your journey, now rests gently on the ground, its light fading, its purpose fulfilled. The connection begins to loosen, the dreamscape shimmering around you, its vibrant colors and newfound serenity slowly dissolving into a soft white light. You feel yourself being gently pulled back, upward out of the depths of the subconscious and back towards your own reality. The transition, while still a lurch, is far smoother this time, a gentle ascent rather than a jarring plunge. The hum of the neural interface becomes more pronounced, signaling your imminent return. You disconnect from the neural network, the subtle prick of the interface a familiar sensation. The blue glow of your apartment, previously a distant memory, solidifies around you. You are back, but the echoes of Elias's dreams still resonate within you. The silence of your apartment feels different now, imbued with the lingering aftertaste of triumph and exhaustion. You lean back, allowing your body to readjust, the specialized suit gently retracting its neurofibers. The first thing you do is check the client's report. The interface, now displaying Elias Thorne's updated profile, shows a dramatic improvement. Dream activity normalized, nightmare frequency 0, anxiety levels significantly reduced. The system confirms what you already knew in your gut. The recurring nightmares have ceased. Elias Thorne will sleep soundly tonight, perhaps for the first time in years. A wave of quiet satisfaction washes over you, the reward for venturing into the darkest corners of another's mind. You stand, moving towards your small, meticulously organized desk. Your gaze falls upon the familiar object, resting on a polished surface amidst various neurotech tools and data crystals. It's an old compass, identical in almost every detail to the one that guided you through Elias's dream. The same intricate engravings, the same slightly tarnished brass casing, the same unique, almost antique design. It belonged to you, it still belongs to you. You pick it up, feeling its familiar weight in your palm. It's a relic from your own past, a silent companion to a trauma you've never fully confronted. You trace the lines of its casing with your thumb, your mind drifting back to the fragmented memories you sometimes glimpse in your own sleep, the ones you push away, the ones that never quite coalesce into a coherent narrative. The loss, the helplessness, the unspoken words. Elias's experience, his path to healing, felt uncannily familiar, almost a mirror image of your own buried pain. The accident, the moment of impact, the desperate silent plea. You helped him find his words, to forgive himself, to transform his grief. But as you hold your own compass, a profound question hangs in the quiet air of your apartment, a question that has haunted you for years, a question that now feels more urgent than ever before. When will you be able to follow your own compass? When will you dive into your own